Right now is the time to be getting things done. And if you aren't getting major projects out of the way that you know you need to do before SHTF, well, you might be running out of time. SHTF has already started in many ways, as many of you will say, but at the same time, the big one hasn't quite gone up yet. So because of that, you have a little bit more time, but you can't be putting things off any longer. We need to get big projects out of the way so they're no longer an issue when that time comes. And right behind me, you're staring at the start of my new private shooting range, which is amazing. Who doesn't want a private shooting range, right? But it's taken a lot of effort and a lot of sacrifice to get to the point where I had enough land to be able to have something like this. But I'll tell you one thing, without the people in my mutual assistance group, I wouldn't have this right now. Because my friend, who's one of my preparedness group buddies, came out here and helped me with his skid steer, which I don't own, and his skills, which I don't have, and put this together during the first half of the day, no problem at all. But I wouldn't have been able to do this without his help. And that's why you also need to be working on other major projects when it comes to community and networking and building those relationships and that trust now before we find ourselves in a situation where we need those people and we don't have them. Extra hands is going to make life a lot easier during SHTF. If you don't have any of that established now, you're definitely not going to have it established later. Because when you're building these groups, there is some vetting that's required. And you have to build that relationship and that trust, and it has to be mutual. So now that he's come out here with a skid steer that I didn't own and the skills to use it that I don't have and help me build something that I've always wanted for years and years now, well, you better believe if he calls me tomorrow and says, hey, come out to my property and help me build my range, I'll be there in a second. And that's exactly how this is supposed to work. But a lot of people aren't working on that because they don't want to put themselves out there. They're worried about the risks that are inherent in meeting new people, and they don't want to give up their OPSEC. But at some point, the risk versus reward factor of that interaction has to be weighed out. And there's always a risk. There's never not a risk. But if you don't put yourself out there and you're not trying to meet people and you're not trying to network and build a community, you never will. And sometimes it might end up going the wrong way, and that risk will be inherited. But at the same time, without taking that chance, I wouldn't have this private shooting range right now, would I? So this is a reminder that we need to be doing that, and we also need to be doing the big projects and working our land or working our gardens, or if you're in an apartment, storing up what you can or building out organization, or even just planning what you'll do if things go south. This is the time to do it. Don't waste it, because yes, SHTF has started in many ways, and I'm getting eaten alive by who knows what's out here that's mad that I chopped down their entire home. But what I will say is that we are in it already, but we still have this little buffer of time that's allowing for us to do something with it. So use your time wisely. Do something with it. Doesn't mean you have to build a private shooting range. Not everybody can do that, and I totally get that. But damn, I am really excited that I get to. The other thing I'm going to say is that you have things you could be doing that you probably aren't. And we all have that. So we need to be better about doing it and get out of your comfort zone, step outside of the bubble, and take some risks when it comes to building this community and building these networks and these relationships. Because if you don't, you're definitely not going to be able to after the fact. And without doing that myself, putting myself out there, even on places like YouTube, I might not have ever met this person who I've met through firearms training and basically through other mutual assistance group members that actually came out here out of their way and helped me accomplish a huge goal I've had for many years of my life. So this is just a reminder of the things we really need to be doing right now. SHTF is here, like I said, in many ways. But the little time we have left before things really go south, you better be using it wisely, okay?